Hello, beautifuls. Welcome to Favored in Divine Timing. This is the start of a new journey for me and for anyone watching and wants to tune in and learn some new things. Welcome, especially if you are a silent watcher. So, if you didn't read the description in the beginning of my intro, this podcast is basically going to be my testimonies and experiences and a little bit of what God has done in my life. So you could really understand that it is possible when you really feel like there's no way out, when you feel stagnant, when you feel like you're stuck in one place. God will move mountains for you. And I am not lying when I say that because years ago, I would say maybe about 3, 4 years ago, I was in a complete different era of my life. Where I'm at now, literally, is all God's work. As long as you keep faith, you keep hope, and you never doubt God, He will get you to where you need to be. Of course, I've gone through the ugly, I've gone through the pretty. I had to go through a few obstacles to get to where I am now. Anyways, this is exactly what I want to talk about in this podcast. So I'm glad you're here. I have gone through some stuff that I'm so glad that God did not make it work in my favor. The reason behind the name Favored in Divine Timing has a lot to do with the fact if God would have gave me my blessings back then when I wanted it, which was moving in my favor, I would have definitely ruined all of my blessings because I was not in the right state of mind. Sometimes we ourselves can destroy the blessings that are coming to us by not being right, by not being okay mentally, by not being who we're destined to be. I'm just glad that I've been favored in divine timing because everything has came together, in God's timing, which is just perfect. And He has gave me so many blessings that I'm so thankful for. I have no other way to thank God, but He placed it in my heart to start this podcast. When God places something in your heart, that's basically Him talking to you. And I've already dealt with something like that before where God would speak to me and I really had to follow through. God moves mountains and He is our provider. So through everything, it is a learning experience and I'm still learning. I really hope that we can all learn together. And by we, I'm talking about me, you, and of course, the main root of this podcast is going to be Jesus, God Himself, our provider, my Father, our Father. I really want the environment of this podcast to be a safe space, free of judgment. We don't judge here. Every day we're still learning. We've all gone through it. We've all gone through things. We've all gone through the worst and the pretty, of course. And I don't think I mentioned it, but you can call me Cassie. I want to start off by choosing a verse. It's just going to set the tone of the podcast. So let's go ahead and do this. Okay, let me read it out loud. Psalm 11:27. She confidently trusts the Lord to take care of her. Yes, that is literally what I was just talking about. You know that it's coming from God. Things will literally add up. I trust that God will do things for me. I trust that He is my provider and He will take care of me. Have you ever felt when you're trying to get close to God, things start happening? You start feeling like people are not there for you, people start falling out. Sometimes, literally, like the worst happens. You have like the worst day. That is called spiritual warfare. And every time when you're trying to be positive, finally trying to change, finally trying to do better, finally trying to set the tone for your day and things go wrong, that is when the enemy is really trying to try you. Think about it. But we don't do that around here. We're not letting the enemy win because when you fall into temptation, when you fall into anger, when you fall into being impatient, the enemy is winning, girl. You need to really step your game up. When somebody gets a reaction out of you, when you're trying to be at peace, they are winning. The enemy will always try to tempt you to go back to your old ways, get out of how far you've came, and that is not it, girl. We need to fight. We need to be stronger every day and have a good mindset. That is where it starts all the time. Like they say, it always takes a bad situation to finally get close to God. Why does it have to be like that, you know? Coming from experience, it did take me bad situations to finally realize that the only one that's always been there and the only one that has gotten me out of dark places was God, was Jesus. Years ago, I really gave people my time of day that did not deserve me at all. And that's where it begins. When you acknowledge that there's more for you in this world, that is God talking to you. Please keep those like little thoughts in mind when you feel like things are not right. Trust your intuition, trust it. And you know what? Let's get into the topic of intuition. Sometimes when you have that gut feeling, the intuition that something is meant to happen or that something needs to happen or something is going to happen, trust it. The reason I say this is because out of my experience, I can tell you that 2 years ago, I was living in a one-bedroom apartment. I had just had my baby girl. I have two kids, by the way. And something called me to start looking for houses. Yes, girl, houses. That is just who starts looking for houses when, first of all, I was just living at my mom's like months ago, and I was working a regular minimum wage 9 to 5 job. My partner was as well, because I was living with my partner at the time. But something was really placed in my heart to move. So that just kept tugging on my soul. And I knew that I was also being called to pursue like social media. So I just went with my intuition. I started a TikTok account and I did not take it serious until one day I was like, "You know what? Let me post this video." This was right after I had told myself that I need to pursue social media because I did not want to go back to work, girl. I just had my daughter. I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. How is that possible when I was literally an average girl, barely affording my life? But I trusted my intuition. God spoke to me. He said, "This is for you. You are going to pursue social media and you are going to succeed." And guess what? This video actually ended up getting over 500,000 views. And this really opened up so many doors for me just because I trusted my gut in posting on social media. This opened up doors for me where brands from Amazon were reaching out to me to promote their items and get commission off all the products they would send me for free. Girl, when I tell you, I was like, I'm living a dream right now. Like, is this real? But it was real. And that was the beginning of like my realities. And then when like I found out I was pregnant with my second girl, I hit rock bottom. I really did. I was already struggling with my first daughter, could barely afford anything, and my partner as well. So that's when I had that gut feeling that I needed to move. I had a very decent credit score, but in by no any means a good credit score to like move to a house. But yeah, so we started house hunting. When we applied for a home loan, that's when we knew we were able to do it. When I tell you that God puts people in your life that will help you get to the next place, God will literally put a feeling, He will put a thought, an idea, a helping hand in somebody's heart to get you where you need to be aligned with your purpose. And let me just say that my real estate agent that we had, she was so good to us. Like, she's the reason we got approved in the first place for a loan. We ended up putting in offers for a few houses, and the house that I really wanted, girl, like somebody got it. But let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. I was almost settling for a house that I didn't even like. The only reason me and my partner were going to settle for this one other house was because we already had to be gone from our old apartment because we were not going to extend our lease. I was like, we're gonna have to go with this house. Like, we have to be out in a week, literally in a week. Um, we were already getting ready to do the closing and sign the final papers. Tell me why. This was all God's work. And let me tell you, I'm going to say it loud and clear. When God is good, He is good. Okay? Because I'm not playing around here. I hope that you Believe in God as much as you're able to. When God has something for you, it will not pass you. It will not be taken away from you. It cannot be given to anyone else but you. Okay, so let's go back to the story. So, right, literally the day we had to sign the papers for this house, God said, "No, ma'am, you're not settling. I'm gonna put you in the house that you want." Because I followed through, guys. I listened to his voice. The only reason that I was able to move out was because I told God, I need you to help me, God. If I have this second girl, I really need your help. I want to be moved out of this apartment. I told him I will be like so happy for like about keeping this baby because I honestly was so like I was distraught. He listened to me, of course. When we were about to sign the contract for the other house, we got a call from our real estate agent. She said the house that you wanted actually chose you guys. The owners chose you to be the ones to get this house. The people they actually chose, something went wrong during their closing. It automatically goes to you guys. When I tell you this house was the one that we have now, that's just the beginning of my testimony of what God has done for me. Once we moved to this house, He changed my whole life. He told me, I will provide for you. Move to a different town and I will provide for you. Have your baby, have your second baby. I'm sorry, I got kind of emotional there, but yeah. So God told me, He told me that, and I did it. I obeyed to what He had planned for me, and things got better. He gave me a stable position. When I tell you that my social media career skyrocketed to the point that I was making more income than my partner, the money is not the money is nothing to what God can do for you. I'm just saying the fact that He did what He said He would, girl, God is He will help you with no conditions. That's what happened in my life. And yeah, guys, I think that's all I'm gonna say because my camera is dying. Hope you learned something today to really put your faith in God. I want to talk about other things because before any of this, I was not living a good life. I hope that I was able to place something in your heart and open your heart to God. He is the only one that will help you. When you feel alone, He's the one that will be there. If you want to get that job, you want to finish school, you want to do something with your life, please do it. Please have faith in God and don't worry about what people are saying to you. Ignore them. If I would have listened to anybody about what I wanted to do in my life, I would not be here. But thank you guys for tuning in. I hope to see you in episode 2. This is Favored in Divine Timing. Next time, get your coffee, your snacks, because we are going to talk about everything that it has to do with positivity, God, and life.